feel proudly Zimbabwe. Okay, fine. And then as I do Zimbabwe, what is the problems? What is causing the crisis in Zimbabwe? According to us, the crisis in Zimbabwe is because of lack of voters. Our theme is reality by voters. What do we mean if we say reality by voters? In Zimbabwe, there are no voters. ZANU-PF has created a hell. So the situation is like, because people are hungry, you need to get a handout. You get a handout, maybe you are given food handout or anything, or land or whatever. In the name of ZANU-PF, you need to vote for them. So the situation in Zimbabwe is such that it's desperate. People are clinging to anything. If any party is formed, if anything is happening, people are just jumping all over. Tomorrow to realize that this party is the same as this one, this one is this one. Opposition is saying ZANU-PF are thieves. But the same opposition, when a thief is arrested, they jump to represent them legally. Opposition, they split into pieces. Tomorrow they gather together. So Zimbabweans are all over. You are either voting on cohesion, you are either voting on fear, you are either voting on emotion, because the people are traumatized. So there's a need to create voters. How do you create a voter? The biggest problem in Zimbabwe is that 1980, we elected fighters into office. A fighter, when he's not fighting in a war, they fight anyone. ZANU-PF are fighting the ordinary Zimbabweans using guns. And you see, even in November, guns were used against a coup, a coup which was not a coup. It was a ZANU-PF renewal project. A factional battle within ZANU-PF included the army, national army, with this nonsense and a gross abuse of power and taking Zimbabwe for granted. That the Mugabe is being removed. Mugabe being a dictator, being a devil as he is, being a looter as he is. Mnangagwa and Chiwenga and Parents Shiri, the most dangerous people in Zimbabwe, the most killers, the most looters, are the same who were propping Mugabe to be in power. And now in hell there's no better devil. When I say hell, I mean ZANU-PF. We don't have a better devil in ZANU-PF. So Mnangagwa coming now and say the voice of God, people is the voice of God, it's blasphemy and it's nonsense. Because Mnangagwa, wherever he is now, he knows that is a devil. So Zimbabweans are being taken for a ride because we have been indoctrinated by ZANU-PF. Why? Our confusion after independence was, what is independence? Independence is getting the freedom from an outside imperialist nation. But freedom is personal, social, economic, political. We were overwhelmed by the euphoria of independence and forgot the hunger, the need for personal freedom. We thought that if a president like Mugabe is there to usher us personal freedom, which is not the case. Freedom is within the people of Zimbabwe, 15 million people. So Zimbabweans were wrongly assuming that if political power is in the president's office or state house. So people, they put their faith to Mnangagwa. Why Mnangagwa should make the election free and fair? Mnangagwa should do this. Who is Mnangagwa? What the hell is Mnangagwa? Because Mnangagwa is friendly with the army, then that makes him own Zimbabwe. That mentality is treasonous. We are allowing people to own this country. Young people are sacrificed by a few cabal criminals. Chiwenga, Mnangagwa, Parents Shiri are just criminals. They are just mafias. No amount of fear can make Zimbabweans feel less Zimbabwean in their own country. We are being kidnapped and captured in our country. So we are saying, yes, I do Zimbabwe. Don't continue assuming. People need one, political education in Zimbabwe. Two, they need political therapy. Why I say political education? Because we have been subjected to one party for so long. After winning election in 1980, ZANU-PF unleashed the Gugura Wundi. What was the purpose of Gugura Wundi? Was Joshua Ngomo was a political threat to the president of Mugabe. So it was a way to silence the potential opposition politics, so that there's a de facto one-party state. 2, political therapy means Zimbabweans they've accepted mediocre. They've accepted oppression as normal, because the oppressor uses your mind. What's happening in Zimbabwe now is that ZANU-PF is using all state resources to maintain power. Normally using the main tool, which is fear. Secondly, the propaganda machinery of ZANU-PF is well funded. So now you find that independent media, state media, it's almost confusing. ZANU-PF is maintaining power without the developmental agenda of the country, but with what? With the propaganda. You find the headlines G40, Lacoste, hey Baba Jukwa, hey what? And the media in our country is also captured, because they rush through dramatic events and leaving the issues that Mnangagwa is not a president of Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa is a legitimate president who is a president by personal choice, backed by Chiwenga and the military. The constitution of Zimbabwe can't be custom made today, tomorrow it's back, tomorrow is this. The constitution we are using in Zimbabwe is the constitution of ZANU-PF, because they can bend it any minute. No one can. You don't need an expert, constitutional expert, to tell that Mnangagwa is not a president. I do Zimbabwe don't recognize Mnangagwa and his friends, parents, genocide kingpin, and the terrorist, General Chiwenga. We don't recognize them. We go to ZEC. ZANU-PF, another point, they've captured the state. And ZBC, they are here, and maybe they are here. But when they go home to report, they will report nonsense. Why? Not because they don't have a conscience, but to get a job at ZBC, you should freeze your mind and be a ZANU-PF stooge. If you Herald or whoever, people they are here, they are captured. So I do Zimbabwe is there our manifesto is one way, freedom. We are not promising Zimbabwe that we're going to build the roads, the bullet trains or whatever. Zimbabweans are captured. ZANU-PF has captured the CIO. Government is paying CIOs, but CIOs are inserted in the office of Mnangagwa. Mnangagwa spies around all the opposition parties. Why this I'm an opposition, I don't know whether Mnangagwa is in toilet now with diarrhea or what. But Mnangagwa knows where every opposition leader is through the CIO, and they are paid by the government. ZANU-PF has captured the military. Because Chiwenga is a general of the army. Don't be fooled. That is, he resigned later on became a minister of defense. You can't be a vice president who is a minister of defense. He's in control of the army. He's a commander who just added other titles as he wish. Because there's no opposition in this country. Opposition in this country is created by ZANU-PF. It's either a party is created by ZANU-PF or a party creates itself and then ZANU-PF buy them out. So the state has been captured by ZANU-PF. ZEC, you know this is Chigumba person. He's a ZANU-PF CIO. This is Chigumba person, the husband, if I'm not mistaken, is General Susisomoyo, who is a coup, one of the coup leaders. This is Chigumba person is in the High Court of Zimbabwe. So I should subject myself to ZEC, which is full of military intelligence and ZANU-PF deployees. ZEC is a cult, is a cabal of devils. I won't subject myself to that shit. And the reason why Zimbabweans are suffering is that the election is run by ZANU-PF. Then from there, this Chigumba was in Russia with the Chris Mchangwa, a medal. I know him in Northwood there, where he was beating and killing people there. Chris Mchangwa is an advisor of a criminal called Emerson Mnangagwa. And then Chigumba goes to Russia, which is alleged to have rigged the American elections. And then to go and learn how to rig elections with another candidate of what is that? In other countries, Chigumba was supposed to have resigned. But in Zimbabwe, opposition, they are fine. Mnangagwa, reform, we want reforms. What reform? If we are serious about reforms, we need to sit down and say, let's agree. How do we employ people in ZEC? And who is working in ZEC now? That is public knowledge, not to take ZEC as a private entity. So ZEC to I Do Zimbabwe, it's a group of smiling devils. It's the reason why Zimbabweans are suffering. That house should be bent down. Because it's a house of evil. Mugabe taught me that freedom is using fire. Every Independence Day, Mugabe and Mnangagwa and all the cult leaders, bloodsuckers, they put a fire in Beni Stadium. So Zimbabweans should use fire to burn that ZEC. So that means we don't recognize Mnangagwa's government. We don't recognize ZEC. So now, when we say political therapy, what do we mean? We mean that Zimbabweans are traumatized with fear. Soldiers are all over the country, roadblocks and whatever, to intimidate citizens. We are saying, yes, I do Zimbabwe needs therapy, so that when you are raped, sexual assault, we call you as a victim. When you get counseling and everything, you become a survivor. So Zimbabweans have accepted now that ED, my vote to ED. You vote a 75-year-old. Mnangagwa is 75 years old, but he doesn't accept to be old. He's dying his head. He's acting like he's a young. What stops him to change the ID? To me, Mnangagwa should be plus or 7 or 90 years old. Because if Mnangagwa is 75, that means he became Mugabe's bodyguard when he was 15. That is hogwash. Mugabe must be 100 and something years. Because when a devil really looks old, you know that devil is gone. Mugabe can be 150 years old. Okay. When I talk about therapy and it's taking people from victims to survivors, I'm introducing our ideology. Our ideology, some they say in Zimbabwe there are political parties which mostly believe in socialism. Many of them. Then you ask yourself, why are they not combining? Because the coalitions of political parties should be driven by ideology, not by personal agenda. Today is in MDC, tomorrow he forms his own party, tomorrow he comes back to the other department of MDC, playing with the Zimbabweans. When we say our ideology is called survivalism, what is survivalism? Survivalism is the art of surviving. Zimbabweans should survive the victim. We are victims of poverty. We are victims of fear. We are victims of oppression. We are victims of looting. A president can stand up in front of us and say $15 billion is lost. But you are the president of the country. So if our country and the resources are not safe in your hands, you are old. Go die. Right now, Mnangagwa is saying no to corruption. If he is serious about corruption, the first person to arrest is Robert Mugabe and Grace Mugabe. After that, he should arrest the person called Emerson Mnangagwa, who owns Zuma Petroleum all over this country, which was represented by Chamisa. MDC is a labor party, which represented the interests of workers, but Chamisa represented a devil Mnangagwa to chase workers without compensation. Then you ask yourself, what is MDC representing? MDC have won elections. To me, they've won every election they've contested. And they've never defended the votes. Now Chamisa is going around the country campaigning and people are singing, hey Chamisa, Chamisa. My people need freedom. My people are being captured politically. My people are being captured religiously. They are calling a pastor, Papa, Papa. Nonsense. Jesus fed 5,000 people, hungry people. But now in our today's church, 5,000 hungry people are feeding one pastor or a prophet. We are saying, as I do Zimbabwe, the stake has been captured by ZANU-PF. There's no difference. Right now, diamonds, the only time the diamonds worked in Zimbabwe is when they did what is called Mbada Diamond Cup. Otherwise, we don't know where the money is. Chiwenga is owning some field there in cooperation with the engine, Chinese, whatever. Mugabe has got a farm. Many Juru used to have a farm. Now that is a devil called Runaida Mjuru has been fired from ZANU-PF. Maybe they took the farm. So we are not going to subject according to I Do Zimbabwe, the upcoming elections in July is a ZANU-PF elective Congress. Because this election has got all the dictates of a party election. The difference between a party election and a national election is that in an national election is engaging. Every person is a stakeholder. The public, the opposition parties, the voice. But this one is a closed thing. Tobai Wamdende is another devil there who has retired and everything, but they are sustaining him so that he can manipulate the voters' roll. Maybe that name Tobai Wamdende is not his name. It's a name meaning Vanwe Zimbabwe. Tobaiwa. This country is 85% young people. The 15% ancestors and spirit mediums are the ones who are running this country. They should go to Matopos Hills, Great Zimbabwe, so that we go there with Pyramid Zimu. They should stay in a spiritual format. Our economy can't be spiritual. That's why the economy is falling down. Because you can't take a spirit medium to run a physical economy. And they bribe us by saying young people are leaders of tomorrow. Young people are the leaders of today. When Mnangagwa was into leadership and Mugabe, they were young. But now they don't believe we can lead. They want us to be youth. Youth. You find in ZANU-PF a youth person is 75 years old. The politics of Zimbabwe is devoid of thinking. A leader should be followed. Yes, yes, ED. Even a graduate from university, I like ED. For what? You are singing for your supper. Don't get money from ED, because that money is yours. It belongs to Zimbabwe. ZANU-PF are campaigning using state resources. The reason why they introduced bond was the election are upcoming. When they want to campaign, they phone Magunja, that Magunja, whatever. Print more money. They print. They've captured our chiefs. I do Zimbabwe is there for the freedom of the chiefs, for the freedom of ZBC workers, for the freedom of our ministers, for the freedom of CIOs. CIOs, they are thinking people. Why can't they tell Mnangagwa what is the problem of Zimbabwe? But they are being used, that intelligence, to go and kill someone. That is blood nonsense. So, we are saying, yes, I do Zimbabwe. We need to tell Zimbabweans that you are the power. Who is running this country? It's actually General Chiwenga. That's the hiding president who captured this Munanda Zulu, Emerson Mnangagwa. So Emerson Mnangagwa is singing, Tichingo Tonga, Mayakwe. A president who says pass name and so in Emerson Mnangagwa's world, if you don't support ZANU-PF, you are an enemy. In Emerson Mnangagwa's world, if you are not in Shona or Karanga, you are in Debele, you should be killed. In Emerson Mnangagwa's world, an opposition leader is backing. Why? Because in ZANU-PF they don't believe that there should be opposition. So these devils, they are too comfortable. Let's sprinkle hot water into the hell, which is ZANU-PF. So, I do Zimbabwe, we are saying to ZANU-PF, do your Congress come July. These opposition leaders who are bribed, who are projects, Chamisa, the Maimu Juru, the whoever, they've been invited shamelessly to partake in a ZANU-PF elective Congress. I look at myself and say, I'm Tinashe Jonas. I'm a presidential candidate. Should I go and register under ZEC? Hell no. I'm not a member of ZANU-PF. ZEC is a structure of ZANU-PF. Zimbabwe, maybe election commission of Kayamoyo or whoever. I can't subject myself to ZANU-PF. ZEC, no. I do Zimbabwe, won't go there. So what do I do? If I stand here as a presidential candidate, as Tinashe Jonas, I'm uncontested. I really wanted to participate in the July elections. But when I look at that, I'm the only one in the national elections who believes Emerson Mnangagwa is not a president of Zimbabwe. Who believes when ZANU-PF elect members of ZEC, they are doing it illegally. Who believes Mugabe was running this country. Mugabe lost the elections, presidential election in 1999. Something called the referendum was a presidential election. It was beating Changirai saying vote no, Mugabe saying vote yes. That was a presidential election. And Mugabe was defeated. What has Mugabe done to Zimbabwe so that he can win any election? That's why people are beaten and beaten and beaten and everything. Mugabe has been running this country from 2000, whatever, illegally. So if you remove an illegal president, you are also illegal. So every opposition leader is calling Mnangagwa president. I would rather die. Because the moment of my death is the time I shut down my conscience and subscribe to oppression. No amount of fear can make me less Zimbabwean. This revolution is motivated by, I think, Psalm 82 or 83 verse 2. Defend the fatherless and the weak. Uphold the cause of the weak, the oppression, the oppressed, and the weak. Zimbabweans, let's uphold our conscience. Let's think we're the most educated country. So, according to I Do Zimbabwe, the upcoming election is a ZANU-PF Invitational Congress, of which I can't be invited to that. If they invite me, I will go there to attend as a guest, not to participate in the elections. So, officially, I am uncontested in the national arena. The one who's going to win there is ZANU-PF Congress, there, I headquarters or Zeki, a branch of ZANU-PF. The one who's going to win there maybe going to challenge me. Then I would oblige and contest. Currently, the election is ZANU-PF. I can't cry to Mnangagwa and say, please reform, I want to go to ZBC to be on TV. I should cry for the freedom of ZBC. Zimbabweans, 15 million, we've got the power in our hands. Let's exercise it now and drive these devils into hell. If my arrest is the ignition of the revolution, bring it on. If my death is the signifies the starting of the revolution and freedom of Zimbabwe, bring it on, ZANU-PF. I can't fight devils to be holy. Sorry, I can't be in agreement with the devils so that I can be safe. If losing my life means standing for good, for my conscience, for principles, for humanity, I should die. So I can, you General Chiwenga, you think you are a better Zimbabwe? You are busy bleaching your skin when people are suffering. I am saying to you, bring your firing squad and shoot me now. Was the fear which has gripped the nation has made us to be where we are. We've got our sisters prostituting in South Africa, England, Botswana, because of suffering. We've got our brothers who are gangsters, because of suffering. You guys, you are excelling and getting richer and happier at the miser of Zimbabweans. This Mickey Mouse between ZANU-PF happy because you are ruling party, MDC happy because you are the main opposition party. This game has been played for 18 years and our life is going down. We can't allow this Mickey Mouse to continue. If you can have money to campaign, why can't you use that money to buy painkillers in hospitals? If it's ZANU-PF, you've got money to pay chiefs, why can't you upgrade our water system? So any Zimbabwean who is supporting ZANU-PF, we give you your life to God and say, God bless you. You would remember that day, Jesus died for you. The pain Jesus went through was for our freedom. I can't sell my conscience to ZANU-PF because maybe they want to give me a position. So Zimbabwe, 15 million Zimbabweans, let's use our power in our hands and drive the devils into the hands of into the gates of hell. So I'm now launching what is called so for elections, the result of elections, the winning party is the I Do Zimbabwe, uncontested. So I'm announcing the results. The winning party of 2018 harmonized national elections is I Do Zimbabwe. The winning president is Tinashe Jonas. So I'm declaring myself the new president of the Republic of Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa was the president for those 3 months. I'm now the new president with another bloodless coup. I don't use the army. The army are hungry. They are starving. and then you use them for your own power. I'm the first civilian president of Zimbabwe. Mugabe was civilian, he changed to be military, using the army and the CIO. Mnangagwa is used the army. I'm the new president of Zimbabwe. Those who doesn't believe in that, let's take it on. If I'm illegitimate, let's look at how Mnangagwa is legitimate. If I'm illegitimate, let's look at how Robert Mugabe was illegitimate. Because people are running this country on a personal decision, either backed by the army or whatever. So I'm equally Zimbabwean the way Mnangagwa is. I'm equally Zimbabwean the way Mugabe can lose the election and count it for 30 days. I won't cry to another Zimbabwean that give me an equal ground. Does Mnangagwa own Zimbabwe? Does he have they call it the one when you get land? I don't know what when you own a land, the proof is called what? When you buy a stand or a farm, they give you something in paper to say you are the owner. Mnangagwa doesn't own Zimbabwe. So I want to be a batting dog, which is vachingo ukura, chichingo tonga. If you are running the country, why shouldn't I run the country? So the elections are done. The winning party, you know it. The winning candidate, president, you know it. I'm uncontested. Everyone is in the ZANU-PF headquarters to wait for the elective congress. So the winner will be ZANU-PF. In their congress, the winner will be a ZANU-PF person. I'm waiting for that person. So, from there, so other Zimbabweans would believe in Mnangagwa, others would believe in me. Other foreign countries would believe in honoring Mnangagwa as a state president, others they would believe in honoring me as a state president. Then I would end with the I do fire revolution. I do fire revolution is a revolution to say fire is a symbol of freedom in the Bible. Why? Because Sodom and Gomorrah were destroyed by fire. When Moses, before he left for Egypt, he saw a ball of fire. In Zimbabwe, Robert Mugabe lights up fire every Independence Day. And Mnangagwa, come April now, we're going to do the same. So ZANU-PF have taught us that if you want to exercise your freedom, light up a fire. But what is happening on independence is that the same devils are the ones who are lighting up the fire, not the public. So I do Zimbabwe, we are saying to the Zimbabweans, every 7 p.m. to 3 a.m. every day, light up a fire to show your freedom. And we are saying to Zimbabweans from 1 April going forward, let's share. If you know that this person benefited from the proceeds of crime, like people like Mpoko, Grace Mugabe, Mnangagwa, Zuma Petroleum, why can't I put petrol there and right now I go? Because the reason why Zimbabweans were suffering is that a few individuals are holding the resources. So let's share, because they are now arresting each other as a public relations exercise. No one goes to jail. It's our resources. Mnangagwa, when you use diamonds to be the richest, when Mugabe you built the blue roof, you are stealing our resources. I'm urging Zimbabweans to take what you can take. If someone is changing money there, where do you get the money? Because the bank doesn't have money. Choppies, go in Choppies, take the grocery. Where did Mpoko got the money? From the diamonds. Obed Mpoko is even arrogant in parliament. Anyone directly in ZANU-PF with the resources, let's take Zimbabweans. Let's take in 100 or 5,000 people. They should arrest all of us and put us in prison. We can't starve in our country. A master's degree graduate selling airtime. Let's take anything directly from a ZANU-PF person or someone outside ZANU-PF who is connected. We have made the devils much comfortable. I'm done. Yeah, what you're going to do is that someone is going to ask a question and answer it directly. And then another one ask.
On the issue of looting, you are encouraging Zimbabweans to loot from other people's profits or hard labor.
Thank you.
Is that not promoting civil unrest in Zimbabwe?
Thank you for that question. The point is, the country, the state is militarized. Why is it militarized? So that the few individuals who have got power and access to resources are taking. The army and CIO and the police are being used to safeguard the looters and to safeguard the public from complaining. You go to open a case that you opened in Mpofu, you stole diamonds and Robert Mugabe and Emerson Mnangagwa. You know yourself that case will never go anywhere. So what should be an ordinary person happen? You do, who is starving to death, when the same resources he is equally a shareholder are being taken by 3 people, Parents Shiri Mnangagwa and General Chwenga. You can't sit here when your food is taken by a stranger. You defend your food. We are encouraging Zimbabweans to take what is their own. Zimbabwe is under sanctions. Whose sanctions? ZANU-PF sanctions. What is a sanction? ZANU-PF is taking what Zimbabweans belongs to Zimbabweans. We can't talk of America. America is saying, do this if you want our money. Should Zimbabwe need foreign aid? So ZANU-PF is going to people, you are suffering because America gave us sanctions. That is nonsense. Sanctions is under ZANU-PF because they are taking what belongs to Zimbabweans. The gold. Mnangagwa owns all the gold mines, the Kadoma, wherever there. He also a shareholder in the diamonds. So we are encouraging Zimbabweans to share. Ubuntu. Let's eat together. We are a family. We can't have a few individuals who are swimming in look at the Grace Mugabe. Look at his kids. They are living life of Hollywood. Where is your kid or your brother's kid is starving? Where is Grace Mugabe getting the money? Does he have O level? Or O level for sex? Next question.
So what are you offering people of Zimbabwe?
Freedom. Zimbabweans are free, but they are captured mentally by fear, by propaganda of ZANU-PF. So we are encouraging Zimbabweans to be free to exercise their freedom. They've got their freedom, but they are made to assume that Mnangagwa is the most powerful man. Yet Mnangagwa is the servant of the people. Anyone who can be a leader is a servant of the people. So we are encouraging Zimbabweans to exercise their freedom and be free. In my government, there is no promise of bullet and whatever. My government policy formulation and implementation should be guided by research. You can't just wake up and say indigenization. You can't just wake up and say land reform. You should know how many square meters are in Zimbabwe, how many people need land. Everything should be done by research. How much money do we need to fund this and that? So we don't do what other parties are doing populist policies to get votes. That's killing the country. They promise a bridge, and then tomorrow they realize that that area doesn't have a river.
If you can, if you are at liberty to give us a brief background of yourself, or where have you worked before, where are you?
All right, I'll say in short. Why I say in short because I don't want personal glory in anything. Tinashe Jonas, I was born in Muperi village in Shindi, Chief Shindi in Chivi South. My growth point is Ngundu. I was born, it was there, now it's there, it's not still a town. ZANU-PF has never built any town, except destroying towns which were built by Smith. And from there, I went to Mshawasha. My parents divorced, and then I went to stay with my uncle next to the Zobo was there. I was actually in school at the Zobo school. And then from there, I did my teaching, course at Mkoba Chess College. And then from there, I've been mostly into the entertainment sector, where I've done some productions which is against ZANU-PF, and I've been at the trail, the radar of also CIO. And at some point, I was even accommodated by Zimbabwe Exercise Forum of Gabriel Shumba in Pretoria, when I was like homeless and CIO on my trail. At some point, I was supposed to stage a theater production at Wits University called Bob, where I was exposing how Mugabe is like killing Zimbabweans. People like Tongo Gara is killed. He's Grace, I mean, not Grace, sorry, killed Salim Mugabe for this grace. And I was and I was a protest artist. I was saying the truth and singing the truth. So ZANU-PF, they don't want the truth, you know. So I was in the arts sector, and I realized, politically, I never wanted to be a politician. I was in the entertainment arts, but politically, I became into the political play by default. Why? Because I managed my aunt to win as a councillor, and then she became a mayor for Norton. And then I managed Teresa Makon at some point when she was MP, when she was Women Assembly Chair for MDC, and when she was a Co-Minister for Home Affairs. I was her advisor. But on record, I've never joined a political party in Zimbabwe, even though I was managing Teresa Makon, but I never joined the MDC on record. And I've never voted, because the election in Zimbabwe is predetermined. It's a party congress masquerading as a national election. So, but now, when I was looking at what is happening in Zimbabwe, every Zimbabwean is desperate. Every Zimbabwean is hoping and praying for Zimbabwe. But I said, no, we don't need the prayers alone. We need a backup action. As a Zimbabwean, before I dream for an ideal Zimbabwe, why can't I contribute even 2%? Maybe I can inspire the other. Because all of you here, you are brilliant. But because of fear, even sometimes to write the truth, people, they can't. You write the truth, you are arrested. So I realized that my country is going down. Criminals are looting. Mnangagwa, Mugabe, Gracie, Chiwenga. And they will never stop looting. Now Mnangagwa is there. That position is for Chiwenga. That's why Chiwenga is busy bleaching. You want to go take over.
Yes, you are a party, but you are on your own way of the others.
Okay, thank you. A good question. The question is, what is a party? And what is the agenda today? The agenda today, I think you saw a spokesperson was introducing me. The agenda today, what is leadership actually? Leadership is putting your body on the front line for your people. Leadership is not to say, if I've got 20 people in my party, let's go to the streets, let's do whatever. People need to be freed because people in Zimbabwe, they are under fear attack. So where there is heat, a leader should step up. A leader should not be in an office with the cooling system, whatever, and these people are in the trench. People like Tomogara were leaders. They were running the revolution. Not these ones, these criminals like Mnangagwa.
Okay, you said you've never voted before, and you expect people to vote for you.
I don't expect anyone to vote for me. Because currently, we can't talk of votes in Zimbabwe when there's no an electoral body for the nation. ZEC is ZANU-PF. So the narrative should not be elections for now. The narrative should be to create a national agreed unity election body with agreed framework of employment of the people there. Then we can talk of elections. If election now we can talk for ZANU-PF Congress, for MDC Congress, for Ideal Zimbabwe Congress, yes. But national elections, they need national reforms. You can't do elections when more than 70% of Zimbabweans access radio media. That radio media is captured by ZANU-PF. The independent radio media is given to ZANU-PF Butulikas. So where is the opposition? Right now, if I wanted to contest the election, so to say vote for me, how would you know about me? How would you know about me? A chief there, he says, we don't want the opposition here. Mabinya, a creation of Mnangagwa, take out those receipts for registration, people are collecting the serial numbers. It's Mnangagwa. One candidate is owning 99% of the electoral space. I can't want a vote from someone who is starving to death. And then I want that person just to decide to vote me and die. I'm not a devil. Why would I subject myself to elections when ZANU-PF, they simply, ZANU-PF are not rigging elections. I want to clarify that. What is rigging elections? Rigging is when the election outcome comes out. maybe an opposition leader is not happy. He challenges the election after filing a petition. He should be given by the High Court the boxes to recount. And when you recount, the outcome should be the same as they announced. That's called rigging. ZANU-PF, they don't rig. What do? They simply now, as the election fever is gripping the nation, they've already written the results. How many MPs can we give MDC so that they won't impeach our president? How many councillors can we give MDC? Which areas do they look like they are supported so that it can look fair? After writing what they write, they simply announce the results. They don't care about what is in the boxes. Because when you challenge the results, you don't get the boxes. Remember 2013, Tsvangirai went to court to challenge the election outcome. The High Court never released the boxes. After that, Tsvangirai had to withdraw the petition. Chijausiku wanted to charge Tsvangirai for withdrawing the case. How do you want a case to go on when someone is challenging the outcome and can't access the boxes? So, by doing so, they are not rigging the elections. They simply write their own results in ZANU-PF head office. And then they announce. So why can't any opposition party or me, I write my results and announce? Because I can't play their game. I should play my game. They don't own Zimbabwe. That I should go beg for reforms. So we can't talk of elections in Zimbabwe because we don't have an electoral body. It's full of brigadiers and CIOs there. If I ask you, can you write 10 workers of ZEC and their background? You might not know. That is a secret that everyone in Zimbabwe doesn't know. No one knows how people are employed at ZEC and who employs ZEC. So, ZEC, I respect them. They are very democratic under their agenda of the party of ZANU-PF.
You say you are the president of Zimbabwe, so how are you going to solve the issue of unemployment in the country?
Thank you. I'm the new president of Zimbabwe. Thank you for that, for recognizing me. I hope even Mnangagwa would recognize me as the new president. When you are a leader, people mistake one thing. What is a leader? A leader is not a superman. A leader is not someone who thinks better than the people he leads. I don't come here grandstand and say I know the solutions of Zimbabwe. That's why I say the Zimbabweans, they are wise people. They know what they want. As a leader in my government, I would form research committees. I don't come here and say Russia come and build a nuclear plant there. We're going to employ 20,000 people. You need to do. You remember you run a country on policy. How do you formulate a policy? You don't run a country as a leader on personal opinion. You research. If you are saying youth unemployment, maybe it's at 90%. What has taken us to be at 90%? That's the first thing. We need to know why we're at 90%. Then we build solutions. Because you need to research. But in Zimbabwe, a leader was standing on TV. We are going to employ 2 million people. And then after 5 months, 2 million people lose jobs. Because this country is on a free fall. It's on autopilot. A leader is not a superman. Mugabe knew nothing. Mnangagwa knows nothing. He can't even talk because that degree of law was given at ZANU-PF head office. A lawyer is someone who can talk. I want Mnangagwa here to debate with him. I don't know who he paid to tell him voice of people and Tichingo Tonga, those 3 lines. He's dumb. Joyce Kujuri is dumb.
Maybe nemuchishona tiudzei pamusoro pe kuti chichonzi I do Zimbabwe and yani Tinashe Jonas.